Stop a second and ask yourself this question. Have you ever approached a woman who you found extremely attractive, where you felt out of your comfort zone, or do you usually only date and talk to women who you find comfortable talking to? Have you ever wondered why certain men are extremely attractive to women? They have a certain aura about them that draws women to them like a magnet. If you look at them objectively, they may not be the most handsome man out there, but there is something about them that makes you perceive them as someone who has value. If you are in their presence, you may realize that everyone is staring at them and listening to every word that they say. Well, today in this video, we are going to discuss what it is that is creating this aura and how to change your mentality to unlock this secret power. So stay tuned.
Mr. Healthy Love.
Hi, I'm Mr. Healthy Love, your dating and relationship coach. And today we're going to talk about something that is vital, which is how to have a bulletproof mindset when it comes to attracting women, and how others perceive you as well as how you perceive yourself is reality. So let's begin. Have you ever been in a club or a bar and sat down and observed? There most likely will be on most nights one guy who is able to walk around the entire bar or club and look like he knows everyone who is in there. You may even think that this guy must own the place. He's talking to different groups, he's talking to the barmen, men, women, you name it, and he knows them. Or so he may trick you into perceiving that he knows them. The secret that he knows and I'm about to share with you is he knows perception is reality. Now, what do I mean by that? He doesn't necessarily know any of these people, but the simple ability of him walking up to random groups and acting sociable makes others observing him think he must know them. It gives him a certain level of social proofing. Now, some men will ask, but what is this guy saying to these people? And the answer is, he isn't necessarily having the most amazing interaction with some of these groups. But when people are in a bar or club setting, they are in a sociable mode and they aren't probably going to be that standoffish unless you are acting creepy or obnoxious. And yet, here's the thing. It really doesn't matter whether that interaction was going that well. As long as that woman is reciprocating your approach well enough to smile and laugh and interact back for a few minutes, the perception that every other man and woman has of you in that club is that you're a socially calibrated and fun guy who people like interacting with. And guess what? Whoever has just seen you playfully talking with people in another group is going to be a lot more open if you approach their group. Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a guy saying very average jokes and comments and yet see a woman laugh and smile and flirt back and think he's a really attractive guy? And you're standing there wondering, what is it that he's got? He's not saying anything that's spectacular. Well, that guy is in the moment and in his element by being present, and the women around him have a perception of him that he is displaying attractive qualities. He's able to hold a conversation. He's socially calibrated. Other people find him interesting to talk to, therefore, he must be a catch. Isn't that a very interesting thought? Now, let's take another example when it comes to sport. Let's take Conor McGregor, for example. He's a mixed martial artist, and in 2015, Conor McGregor was an up-and-coming fighter, whereas Jose Aldo had been the featherweight world champion and had won 18 straight fights and was undefeated for over a decade. Yet Conor got in his face and he was telling him in the build-up to the fight that he was past it at the age of 28 years old. He was pushing this reality onto Jose Aldo so much that he got him questioning his own belief in himself. At 28, he was in his prime, and yet when they fought, the pressure was so high, Jose Aldo rushed into things and got knocked out within 13 seconds. The guy had never been knocked out before and had not lost in a decade, and he got knocked out within 13 seconds of the fight. But Conor McGregor's belief in himself and visualizing that he was already the champion in his head before he set foot in the octagon allowed him to be the driving seat of his own perception of reality. None of Jose Aldo's previous accomplishments intimidated Conor McGregor. It was his perception and what others perceived of him which allowed him to win the fight mentally before he had even stepped foot into the octagon to fight. Now, how does this mentality help us talking to a woman? Well, a lot of guys hold on to their previous failures as a justification as to why they will fail in the future. Yet if we take the notion that perception is reality, the truth is you start with a clean slate every time you go out, depending on how you perceive yourself in relation to the world. And that is good and bad. If you were doing really well last weekend, that does not mean that it is guaranteed to continue the next time you go out. But if you've been repeatedly failing every time you approached a woman, that also does not mean that you will fail this time. However, if your mind has the perception that you will, then the likelihood is almost certain that this will happen. Now, there are two ways you can go with this. At first, you may not have the confidence to believe that you can walk straight up to a beautiful woman you've never spoken to and get a positive result from the interaction. But that's only because confidence by definition is knowing that you can do something from prior experience. And as Suzy Kassem said, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So having self-doubt about being good enough, being funny enough, being confident enough is only going to stop you even trying in the first place. Don't be afraid to fail. So there is an element of maybe having to fake it before you make it. And I don't like saying that because ultimately you want to be true to yourself. But it's very difficult to have that level of knowing of who you are if you've never had the experience of having a positive result with a woman who, in your mind, is everything you've been looking for. And what I mean by fake it until you make it is that you have to have a level of self-belief before you may even truly believe it. You may have to think and give yourself positive affirmations that something will work, even if you have no prior experience that this is the truth. It's a feeling of, I know I can walk straight over there and get this woman's number. Whether it's true or not and she rejects you is not the point. It's to what degree are you convinced that you are able to achieve that goal. And you may walk over there 10 times and fail with 10 women. But as Winston Churchill said, success is not final. Failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. You've got to get back on that horse and keep going. Because there is a tipping point that you will get to if you do. When you've approached enough women, and not just any women, but women you feel you truly find attractive and want to talk to, at some point you're going to realize that there isn't really any difference between those women and the women you find easier to talk to that are in your comfort zone. The difference is in how you value them, which creates an illusion of them being untouchable or out of your league. And ultimately, when you get to an ability level where you know you can walk up to any woman you choose, the reason why you can do this is because you have a strong identity. You know who you are, and you aren't trying to impress anybody or anything externally. And therefore you care a lot less about what other people think of you. I know that if I walk up to a woman and she declines me, that I did what I needed to do, and I live with no regrets. And even if she doesn't find me attractive, she will at least know that I am one of the very few men who can speak his truth and go for what he wants in life. Something that she will at least respect. Now, whether Conor McGregor was faking it until he made it when fighting Jose Aldo, I don't know. I don't think so, because he had a bulletproof mentality and truly believed he was the best in the world. But that's only my perception of reality. I honestly don't know. Only he knows the answer to that. But every single fighter out there believes they are going to win, when only one ultimately wins and the other loses. But if they walked into a fight believing that they'd already been beaten, then they will already have lost. So if you walk into a bar, let's say, with the belief that you are enough, as if you're the owner of the bar and you know everyone in there. If you show up with that mentality and start approaching different groups and talk to the barman as if he's your best friend, that assumption you have that you know everyone will already erode any barriers that random people will put in front of you. Because if you assume you are their friend and don't speak like a stranger, for example, starting with, what's your name? Where are you from? No, talk to them with observations. What are you guys doing after this? I hear the bar on the corner is a good place to check out. Or, wow, that's a really cute dress. God, you're showing me up right now. I thought I was dressed up. It doesn't matter what you say necessarily, it's the energy you have behind it. That's why pickup lines don't always work, because you could say one line one night with a great charisma and energy and it does really well. And then the next night you say the exact same line but you're not feeling so confident and it flops. It's not the words, it's the energy behind them. So having that feeling that you're enough, you're a high value male that any woman would be delighted to speak to. This is the feeling you want to create before you go out and speak to women. And ultimately, you're going to get to the point when you have the experience that you know that you can approach any woman that you want and show your best self. Because you will have a strong self-identity and won't have to put on any kind of act. And at some point, you're going to have successes and you won't have to create this mindset because it will just be who you are. You will know that you are more than enough and that you are able to walk up to any woman that you find attractive. Think of that for a second. The freedom to be able to approach any woman you please. That is true freedom, and that is something I will leave you with to contemplate. So if you have any questions on this video, don't forget to leave a comment below and I'll try and answer all of them. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and push the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to join the dating forum on my website at mrhealthylove.com, where you can ask questions within the community. And if your question is particularly interesting, I will do a future YouTube video on it with full analysis. And if you want any one-to-one coaching sessions, you can book them on my website as well at mrhealthylove.com. And don't forget to download the Mr. Healthy Love app by downloading the Wix app and using the invite code for all the latest news. And if you're a woman watching this and you want women's dating advice, then you can go to the Mr. Healthy Love Women's channel by clicking in the description below or up here. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.